right, team, it's game time. I call this meeting of Oakland Rotary number 3 to order a tad bit early because we have 2 fabulous speakers. Welcome to Oakland Rotary number 3, the 3rd oldest Rotary club in the world. Hello, shh, 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 shh. Hello, 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 shh.
Everybody in the back, we got to have a little bit more decorum around here. Shh. You guys are so chatty. Fred, Morse, I'm looking at you.
The acoustics in this building are so good, we can hear you in the back, so please, let's keep it down. So welcome to Oakland Rotary number 3, the 3rd oldest Rotary club in the world. I'm Joe Gorelka, a retired CPA and CFO from East Bay Restaurant Supply, and you can call me Coach Joe. Around the world, there are more than 46,000 Rotary clubs with 1.26 billion Rotarians in over 221 countries, providing more than 47 million service hours each year. Most cities you can name have a Rotary club. We have both local and global impact. We gather as business and community leaders to make a difference around the world and right here in Oakland, to support each other and to support each other's businesses, and for some fellowship and fun, which it appears we're having lots of today. Welcome, thank you for being here, either in person or online. I'd like now to acknowledge any visiting Rotarians. I know of one online because I saw her smiling face. We have the charter president of the Delta Antioch Club visiting us online, Martha Gorelka, my better half. Do we have any other visiting Rotarians? Seeing none, let's then introduce the guests that are with us. And I'd like Rotarians to first say your name and your business and then introduce your guests.
President Joe, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'm David Stein, retired attorney, and it's my pleasure to introduce 2 guests today. First, Rita Herald. Please stand up, Rita.
Welcome.
Stand up. Rita is a retired public school teacher and a longtime volunteer at Children's Fairyland. And the second guest today is David Gans. David is an expert on the Grateful Dead. You may recall he spoke to our club just a couple of months ago, and he's here to learn about the Kaiser Center, where the Grateful Dead has a long history. Please welcome David.
C.J. Hirschfield.
Thank you, Coach Joe. C.J. Hirschfield, retired nonprofit executive. It is my absolute delight today to introduce my amazing daughter, Micah McKechnie.
Yay, welcome.
Who is a behavior and training specialist at the East Bay SPCA, and I'm sure she would want me to tell you, you can train cats.
That's incredible. My cat has
Wayne
trained me.
Goodwin.
Coach Joe and friends and Rotarians, it's my distinct pleasure today to have 2 of the most beautiful women in the country with me. One is my wife, Barbara, of almost 56 years, and the other is the wife, former wife of our esteemed member, Bob Peltz, who passed away last fall. I also want to acknowledge, Coach, that have sitting with us a longtime member, Susan Smith, but a little known fact is that Susan Smith was our babysitter some 40 plus years ago when we had small children, and I was her sponsor when she joined Rotary.
Oh, awesome. And Susan, you turned out okay.
Hold on, Joe. Say it, Wayne.
I will ring the bell.
Wayne Goodrow rings the bell. And in case you're wondering, a bell ringer is a generous $100 donation to our Oakland Rotary Endowment, which funds our community service projects. Bob Peltz was a really dear friend of mine. Welcome and thank you for coming in his honor. We're pleased to have you with us. Matthias?
Hola, hola. Hi, everyone. Matias Lemos Castillo, owner of MLC Consulting. And I have two wonderful guests today, Marcos and Will. They actually do really cool work. I'm going to let you say something real quick.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the invite here. Wonderful organization. My name is Marcos Rebolito. I am an audiovisual architect. I help businesses think through spaces like this so that individuals that are doing presentations don't go, can we quiet it down, please?
I think they're chatting.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And I also have Will with IT Solutions.
Hi,
Very-
everybody.
very quickly.
Thanks for having me today. William Rodriguez, Gray Matter IT Solutions. I provide fractional IT support for small businesses. And yeah, thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you with us.
Appreciate you.
Dudley, or I guess we're going to go to Patricia Wells.
Hey there. Hi. Thanks, Coach Joe. Patricia Wells, CEO of the Oakland Housing Authority, and I'm thrilled to have our Director of Capital Improvements that keeps our jewels shining, Mr. Bruce Brackett.
Thank you for being with us. And Patricia, we're glad to have you join us in John Goodrin's honor. Dudley Thompson, our Assistant Governor.
Thank you, Coach Joe.
Past President, Dudley, sorry.
I'd like to invite my newest and best friend, Jill Neely. Jill is looking at joining us. She's visited the other Rotary clubs. She's a retired, she was a teacher at Laney College and at Merritt, was it? Taught English and English second language. She's been around Rotary a lot. She's been involved with international projects, and she'd hoped to have a Rotaract program at Laney, and as soon as she retired, we got one there. So welcome, Jill.
Welcome to you.
You're on the right thing, Joe.
I want to acknowledge one other person, and I think it's the President's prerogative. I'd like to acknowledge Rotarian Emeritus, past President Jack McAvoy. Would you stand for a moment? We're so pleased to have you with us. Yay, Jackie! Please welcome past President David Stein.
One more, Joe. Sorry, we missed. Merlin's got
Ruth,
somebody.
my gosh, I'm sorry, Ruth Stroop.
Hi, Ruth Straub, retired, and introducing for Tom, on behalf of Tom Limon, his niece Nina, who's visiting for the year from Spain.
Whoa! Welcome, Nina. All good? Welcome, Nina. So now, please welcome to, we good?
Did you do the visiting Rotarians while I wasn't paying attention?
I did.
I have a visiting Rotarian right here. Where are you?
Please.
Cassie from West Virginia.
Welcome.
Cassie Lilly.
Welcome, Cassie. We're pleased to have you with us. Now, please welcome past President David Stein, a retired construction and real estate litigator. David has given thoughts for the day for most of his Rotary career. And so this presentation should be considered a role model of a great one. So take notice. No pressure, David. Please give us our thought for the day.
Thank you, President Joe. The building we are in is named after Henry J. Kaiser, who was a visionary leader who helped build Oakland. Recently, Ted Turner, a visionary leader in media, peace, and the environment, passed away. Their thoughts on leadership. Henry Kaiser said, "Great leaders are willing to take risks, step out of their comfort zones, and motivate others to do the same." The sign on Ted Turner's desk, "Lead, follow, or get out of the way."
Thank you, David. Did you notice? Short and sweet. Now let's welcome some new players to our team. New talent to keep our bench strong and continue making a difference in Oakland and around the world, both now and in the future. Today, we have 2 new corporate members and 1 new member to be inducted. Each new member receives a Rotary pin and badge, a packet that includes a club directory, a copy of our Rotary 4-way test, which is our Rotary rulebook for business and life, and a 4-way test coin, plus a ball cap, which we'll get to you. We had so many, we ran out. Now, please welcome, to introduce our first new corporate member, Keith Urarte, their sponsor. Keith's occupation is, quote, mostly retired. Keith says a thank you for sponsoring a new member. I present you a Rotary 4-way test coin. please introduce our new corporate member and their two corporate individuals that will become Oakland Rotarians today.
Coach Joe, fellow Rotarians and guests, today I am honored to introduce corporate member Family Bridges, founded in Oakland in 1968. It serves 10,000 clients annually, primarily monolingual and limited English proficient individuals and families from our Asian-speaking communities. It empowers individuals, families, and seniors to achieve wellness, stability, and independence through culturally competent care. Representing Family Bridges as Oakland Rotarian members are its Chief Executive Officer, Johnny O'Brien, and board member Jessica Chen. Johnny, for more than 20 years, has worked across California, expanding across to healthcare, strengthening nonprofit organizations, and creating programs that support seniors, youth, family, and underserved communities. He holds a Master of Public Health from San Jose State University and a poli-sci degree from UC Riverside. Johnny recently discovered his great-great-grandfather was a Chinese laborer who settled in Samoa in the late 1800s. Every football season, Johnny proudly becomes a devoted Pittsburgh Steelers fan and settled in and is willingly signing up for weekly emotional stress. Jessica was born and raised in Taipei, Taiwan. She completed graduate school in Kentucky, then arrived to the Bay Area. She has worked in the Oakland Asian community since 2010 as a reporter for World Journal, as a community liaison for former council member Gillian, as an executive director of the Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, and currently Jessica is the branch manager for the Metropolitan Bank in Chinatown. Jessica enjoys many types of music. She goes to the Sounds of Music sing-alongs and Carl Cox gigs. I all know about Carl Cox, right? She was a Girl Scout in Taiwan for over 15 years. Girl Scouts in Taiwan do not sell cookies. Coach Joe, fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Family Bridges, Johnny O'Brien. Jessica Chen is our newest Oakland Rotarians.
Ruth, could I ask you to snap a photo for us? Oh, Jason's got it. Thank you. Come on up, Keith. Get up on the side as well. You're awesome, Jason. Johnny and Jessica, I have here your Rotary badge and your Rotary pin. This pin is recognized worldwide, and it comes with 250 plus new friends right here in Oakland and 1.26 million worldwide. We know you are both superstars, and we're so honored to have you as part of the team. Welcome. Don't ever hesitate to say, put me in, Coach. Thank you. Welcome to the Oakland Rotary #3 team. Thank you, Keith. And now we have a second new corporate member, and it's sponsored by President Joe, me. So let me tell you a little bit about our next newest corporate member, the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts. Recognize it? And introduce 3 corporate members becoming Oakland Rotarians today with 2 interesting facts. The Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts manages all operations of this historic, newly renovated, world-class event center, now a second, I said, jewel on Lake Merritt, managed with a community-focused commitment. And I should tell you, they are our landlord. Terry Trotter is Chief Executive Officer. Terry built and designed a new interactive museum of science and art in Michigan, worked at an orphanage in Russia, loves to ski, and plays handbells in the church bell choir. JP Lewis is Chief Operations Officer. JP is a 23-year retired combat veteran of the U.S. Air Force with several tours in the Middle East and South Africa. Thank you for our service. He is also a volunteer firefighter, including working the lines on 3 major fires in the Black Hills, and a volunteer EMT, emergency medical technician. And he plays the viola and the piano. Adam Griffin is Chief Operations Assistant. Adam has for 6 years provided underprivileged youth access to Northern California redwoods. His hobby is will-thrown ceramics. That's pottery. And he marched in the band at Notre Dame, and Adam plays the trombone. Please come up. I present to you our next 3 newest Oakland Rotarians. We'll get a picture. So don't leave. Terry, Adam, and JP, I have for you here your Rotary pin and badge. The Rotary pin is recognized worldwide. It comes with 252 new Rotary friends right here in Oakland and 1.26 million worldwide. We know all 3 of you are superstars, and we're so fortunate to have you join our team. Don't ever hesitate to say, "Put me in, Coach." Welcome to the Oakland Rotary number 3 team. Terry. Thank you. JP. Adam. I got your pins. Thank you. And now we have one more new member to induct, and it's also sponsored by me, but it's my brother, so you would think that's the way it would be. Mark, are you up here? Come on up, Mark. This is my brother, Mark. Mark is an associate engineer with the city of San Leandro, working on capital improvement projects. Mark is one of 5 brothers, and we also have 3 sisters. Mark enjoys home renovation projects, once hosting a huge rock with a crane over the roof into his backyard to start a water feature. His underground geothermal HVA system won a City Beautification Award. For fun, Mark likes to hike, including Mount Whitney, bikes, and used to run marathons. I present our next newest Oakland Rotarian, my brother, Mark Gorelka. Mark, I have your Rotary pin and badge. And as I said, the pin is recognized worldwide. It comes with 250, I'm sort of losing count now, 255 best friends right here in Oakland and 1.26 billion around the world. Mark, we know you were a superstar, I think. You outshined me anyway. No. Yes. In any event, we're so honored to have you join us. Welcome to the Oakland Rotary number 3 team. Now I'd like to call up President-elect nominee Carrie Hamill, a political consultant, retired transportation executive. Her last workplace was BART, to tell us about someone we all know, love, and respect.
Very good prompting, Jason. So I am reintroducing somebody today who describes herself as a nonprofit retired nonprofit executive. But you're going to find in the next couple of minutes that C.J. Hirschfield is so much more. She was born in Los Angeles. Next. Did that go? Okay. Where she was inspired by the wonder of film and the wisdom of UCLA's John Wooden. Next. She was voted, of course, the wittiest in her class. She was the editor of her high school newspaper, and she won a statewide award, next, for her in-depth feature about Rock Hudson filming a steamy movie at her school. Next. At Stanford, she attended the film and broadcasting program in England held at the Cliveden Estate, where the infamous Profumo affair had occurred. Seems to be kind of a theme here, huh? Next. Her academic experience there studying British film and broadcasting, as well as her extensive European backpack journeys, proved life-changing for CJ. Next. Her first job after college was running San Francisco's public access channel. She someday would like to write a book about it, but few would believe her fantastical stories. Next. Like a group that worshiped eroticism came by, and a trans reverend for animals were featured. They were just some of the community members that she welcomed. Next. Then she moved to the local cable channel, where she produced San Francisco's only half-hour performance arts and public affairs series. Her show featured Dan White, Harvey Milk, Dianne Feinstein, Willie Brown, and many others. Next. The arts show featured the artist Judy Chicago, director John Landis, photographer Gordon Parks, and more. Next. She cherishes the interview she did with photographer Ansel Adams before his death. Next, and for one brief period, she announced the Bay Meadows post-horse race show, where scores of men started calling in from bars to protest a woman broadcasting about their sport. Next, living in San Francisco in the 70s and 80s, she served as a volunteer for Shanti, where she counseled those living with AIDS, and once led a marching band in the 1978 Gay Freedom Day Parade. And of course, she worked on Harvey Milk's successful gubernatorial campaign. Next. Her 20-year cable television career continued when she went to work for the association that represented the industry at the state and federal level. Next. She produced the industry's annual national convention, which had over 30,000 attendees annually. Next. She was inducted into the prestigious Cable Pioneers group in 1998. Next. She was also one of the founders of the Walter Cates Foundation, which identified and placed managers of color into the cable industry. She produced the event's fundraising videos. Next. And when Ted Turner was honored in 1987, she got to interview President Jimmy Carter, Andrew Young, Frank Aaron, and the amazing Ted himself. It was in New York at one of those dinners in 2001 that September 11 happened. CJ couldn't get home for nearly a week. She did a lot of thinking during that week about life and its meaning for her. Next. At that time, the cable industry had become consolidated and less fun. She had always volunteered in the Bay Area on children's literacy events, and she decided that she wanted to run something that spoke to her heart. Next. The very first time, and the only time, that she ever checked on Craigslist, there it was, a posting for her position of Executive Director for Children's Fairyland. Next. She felt she could bring the park to the next level for her community. It was at that time, 2002, that she also joined Oakland Rotary. She served as Fairyland's leader for 17 years and loves that among so many other park features. Next, she was able to build a theater, expand the historic puppet theater, next, and create Old West Junction and the Jack and Jill Hill, next. Under her leadership, the park dramatically increased attendance, added nighttime events, and instituted an outreach program which annually offered 16,000 free subsidized admission for Bay Area children and families. I worked for BART at the time, and we partnered to bring many, many children from BART to Fairyland for the day. She was the founding president of the California Parks and Attraction Association, joining her peers from Disney, Six Flags, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and others. She led the organization for over a decade. Next. She also served for a decade on the boards of Lake Merritt Uptown Business Improvement District and Visit Oakland. She penned a weekly column for the Piedmont Post for 13 years. Next. Then she met David Stein through community service and got to know him better through Rotary, where she served on its board and its endowment board. Next. Love and marriage 15 years ago ensued, a real Rotary love story. When it was time for retirement for Fairyland, CJ returned to her roots. She'd been writing feature stories since she was 16, writing for the Oakland Side, the Alameda Post, the Splash Pad, and EatDrinkFilms.com. Now that David Stein, who she refers to as BHE, Best Husband Ever, has also retired, she looks forward to travel, birding, watching film noir, next, and time with her 3 shared and amazing children. Micah is here with us today, certified behavior and training specialist at the East Bay SPCA. Stephen is flying helicopters for the Air Force in Spokane. Josh is a political analyst at the Software and Information Industry Association. Next, she's proud to currently chair the board of the outstanding Youth Beat Oakland nonprofit and to serve on Rotary's community service and program committees. There's a lot more to CJ than we thought. That's it. All right, I'm getting out of here. Thank you, darling.
I see a number of bell ringers out there, and
I'm going to them.
I'd like to start off by ringing
I
the
see you,
bell
Alex.
for CJ Hirschfield. Alex Polson rings the bell. Isaac Koss-Reed rings the bell.
Good job.
Wise Allen rings the bell. Carla Betts rings the bell. Marissa Betts rings the bell. Dudley Thompson rings the bell. Linda Bosnicker rings the bell. Past President Shannon Hackley rings the bell. John Clausen rings the bell. Newman rings the bell. Patricia Wells rings the bell. Jack McAvoy would like to say something. I can't not.
Once for David Stein and once for CJ.
Jack McAvoy rings the bell twice, once for David, once for CJ. Fred Morris rings the bell. Mary Rutzer rings the bell. Stephanie Krasinza rings the bell. I know, God. Rick Draper rings the bell. Sorry. Allison Bliss rings the bell. Ken Richardson rings the bell. Carrie, President-elect nominee Carrie Hamill wants to say something.
I ring the bell for both David Stein and CJ, my darling.
Carrie Hamill rings the bell twice, once for David Stein and once for CJ Hirschfield.
Mrs. Peltz has something to
Mary
say.
Jeong, past president Mary Jeong
Good job,
rings
Mary.
the bell.
Joe, look at me, Joe. Find me. I'm 12 o'clock.
Ah!
Mrs. Peltz wants
Is
to
it
say
Linda?
something.
Linda Peltz rings the bell. Linda,
Twice, once for CJ and once for Wayne Goodrow. Thank you for inviting me.
Linda Peltz rings the bell once for CJ and once for Wayne Goodrow, and I'm going to ring the bell, Linda, in Bob Peltz's name.
Classy.
Over here, Joe.
I apologize, I have forgotten your name.
Christine Williams.
Oh my God, and you're giving your 3-minute introduction next to my bad. I owe you a drink. Christine Williams rings the bell.
David
Stein rings the bell. David Stein takes the floor.
You get 2 mics.
Three bell ringers. One obviously for CJ, who I love. One for Bob Peltz, who was one of my sponsors into Oakland Rotary, and one's for Youth Beat, who is having a program on May 19th. If you're interested.
All right, Bill.
David Stein rings the bell 3 times.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on, Bill. Here we go.
Bill Schwartz rings
Once
the
for
bell.
CJ, what an amazing career.
CJ, could I entice you to come up on the stage, or Thank you, CJ. I know you didn't want to do this. CJ is so modest.
I'm verklempt.
CJ, in recognition of your service above self efforts in being a member of Oakland Rotary for over 23 years, for actively participating in the Speakers Committee, personally arranging multiple Speakers Series quality speakers, and for actively supporting the Community Service Committee for decades, assuring that the funds were utilized for projects that were of greatest need and most benefit, and for being a champion of countless nonprofits, so that as a direct result of your unwavering support, they continue making a significant difference in the lives of so many. I present you a Rotary on the One medal. Congratulations. Is Isaac Cosreed around? Isaac. Join me, Isaac. Isaac, in recognition of your service above self efforts and being an active, energetic, visionary voice as a member of the board of directors, for being a social media guru, providing Oakland Rotary number 3, promoting Oakland Rotary number 3 so well, Oakland Rotary is known as a force for good in Oakland, a large extent because of you and your committee. For spearheading Oakland Rotary's participation in the Mayor's Holiday Troy Drive this year that spread not only holiday cheer, but featured our club on the TV news. And for being passionately involved in Oakland and Oakland Rotary, making a significant difference to the town we love and the humanity in it. I present you a Rotary on the Run medal.
Thank you. Okay. I have a new necklace.
Congratulations, Isaac. So I think I saw some cake as I came in. Must be time for May birthdays. Does anybody have a birthday in May out there? If you'd please stand. Mary, you get to wear the birthday hat. Let's all sing happy birthday to our May birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, every Rotarian. And May, happy birthday to you. Now I'd like to call up past President Tom Lamone, a commercial real estate broker specializing in investment sales with Newmark. Tom, please introduce not one, but both our speakers today.
All right. Thank you, Coach Joe, and congratulations, CJ. All right. Today we have two very special guests that are an integral part to this venue. We're pleased to welcome Terry Trotter, CEO of the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts, who is leading the development of the nonprofit operating entity and building the business infrastructure to support the long-term sustainable future, both as a building and a cultural programming hub. Terry brings more than 25 years of performing arts and cultural leadership to this role, having helmed major art centers and museums across the country. Her career spans leadership of some of the largest cultural institutions in Michigan and Idaho, and she oversaw a major renovation of the 11,000-seat Walmart Amphitheater in Fayetteville, Arkansas. But first, I would like to introduce Clark Mannis, FAIA, founding principal of Heller Mannis Architects, 87th president of the American Institute of Architects, and a fellow former Oakland Planning Commissioner. He's, you can call him a Starchitect if you, that's how we know him as. These roles speak to Clark's standing across architectural practice, the broader profession, and a lifelong dedication to civic life. Over 4 decades, he has helped shape the built environment of San Francisco and Oakland through landmark, civic, residential, high-rise, and adaptive reuse projects that have left a lasting mark on both cities. His leadership, alongside former Mayor Art Agnos, helped transform the central Embarcadero after the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. Clark is a recognized leader for advancing resilient, sustainable urban design, complex mixed-use development, and civic advocacy at the highest levels. He'll share the journey from day one with Eddie Orton to reawaken the Henry J. Kaiser. Also, if you stay after the meeting, Clark will give us a brief tour of the facilities. Please join me in welcoming Clark Mannis.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much, Tom. So I am going to, with the coach's direction, I am going to speed through a presentation that I've taken since 2014 and experience. So next. So probably the best analogy I would have for this project, and I'm sure Terry would agree, is that this project and its history is really a roller coaster. It's gone through great ups and great downs, and you actually have had a chance to experience it. Next. So one of the tidbits I wanted to share with you today was its history. Next. As the architect of the renovation of San Francisco City Hall almost 30 years ago, both of these buildings actually were done in the same era, in the same time frame. Many of you may not be aware of that. So Battle of the Bay was actually occurring in 1915, and one of the things that's really pretty fascinating, similar style but very different uses. One a government center and one a use for the public and the citizens of the city to enjoy. Next. So in 1915, and you won't see it there if you've gone through it, the arena used to have a full glass roof. You can see that on the image up on the screen, and the configuration of the roadway was very different. So in the course of the more than 100 years, the building has really changed in the way it's fit, but it's always been a key part of the city. Next. One of the things that came to me early on, a mother with a lifelong disability, cerebral palsy, was the inability to access these 7 art niches, terracotta niches, done by Alexander Calder Sr., okay? And the original project had steps up to each one of them. Some of you may remember. one of the solutions that came to us early was providing a way that everybody could experience them, which is actually the case today. Next. So 2014 seems like an eternity. Talking to JP earlier, projects of this magnitude do take a very long time. Many people don't realize that. In this case, more than a decade, and it seems like it's gone by in a flash, but a lot of experiences in between. So we were awarded the contract. Eddie Orton, who really is the great visionary who actually saw the opportunity and lived through it. The building had been stripped of copper and was vacant. The city had spent probably the last 10 or 15 years trying to figure out what it was going to be used for, and there was no use for it. Next. So the relationship, if any of you have walked the lake, understand, and I've done that for probably more than 40 years with my wife, experiencing that great thing, was the disconnected relationship that the building had to the loop in the lake. I've always wanted to sort of find a way that we could get there in spite of the sort of recent desire amongst the museum and HJK to try and find a connection where the courthouse is. I still don't think it's the right sort of connection. So anyway, so that was a big part of the sort of takeaway, is how could we bond this building back to the experience of one of Oakland's great gems in Lake Merritt. Next. So those of you who probably had this tour about a year and a half ago didn't get to see what we basically saw when Orton took possession of the project. And you know, the ideation, as Eddie would say, was really pretty wide-ranging. So a lot of really tired experiences in the building. Next. You see that in the theater. You see the sort of red seats, the sort of poor lighting, the lack of AV equipment. It was really old and tired, and in no way was going to be able to attract any events. Next. The arena pretty much remains very much like it has always been, but one of the challenges was how to transform it and make it a little bit more exciting to be in. We added a linear skylight at the top of the ridge, and we cleaned out a lot of things that were necessary. A lot of voluntary seismic upgrade occurred on that portion of the building. And again, the sort of cleaning up of the niches outside to actually get close up attention to. Terracotta is a pretty unusual material. You don't typically see its use in the West Coast as a result of earthquakes. Next. Some of the experiences in entry of the theater on the second level, the tunnel up the top there, as I would describe it, that accesses the upper level seats, which cannot be used because they are not code compliant anymore, so they had to remain in place based on SHPO's direction. Next. And the room that perhaps you've met in some time on the other side, on the south side of the building, is not nearly as exciting for me. This ballroom is really a gem. The metal work for the railings, the character of the roof. So you're all very privileged to be able to meet in a room of this caliber. Next. And as I said earlier, the real solution that I think doesn't get a lot of play, but I think is a very important thing, was the biggest addition to this building was the North Terrace, okay? And the North Terrace actually solved for me two primary objectives. One was accessibility to those art niches, and more significantly, when you go out there, and you'll experience the same way, it is one of the few experiences that will allow you to see across the lake. Okay, so it is, for me, a great social thing. It provided connectivity along the north, the linear corridor that runs along there. So it's a great way to be able to provide the supplement to that. And the other part that probably you don't necessarily see in the middle, it's bowed out a little bit. Eddie Orton was persistent with me in trying to find a way that we could enable, in the future, performances out in the north parking lot. So if people were not parking there, it could accommodate a music concert or a play or something like that. And so that little tweak was really a part of what that was about. Next. So I'm going to take you way back just very briefly here, because the idea that we started out in 2014 and up till COVID was trying to find a way to intensify the use here. If you flash back, you remember all the technology in terms of desire, not any different than it was now. And what we did was we were trying to identify how the theater could stand alone, how the arena could be split up next. And in that, the desire was really, forgot this is one of the things that I remembered that was really an important part of that experience of how it was a backdrop. Okay, this is 2015 when the Warriors won, a great year, many of us remember. And the amount of people there, I remember going there, it was pretty frightening, but very exciting. Next. So, as I was saying, so the blue in the middle was really trying to insert a new building in the arena. Okay, that arena is massive. The idea was to try to find a way to provide commercial uses in there. When the momentum was there, theater remained the same, arena remained the same, and that blue little piece was it. Next. And so this was a view from it. Next. So, COVID. COVID literally shut down the project. It went down to a de minimis amount of money that was going to be used for the renovation. Pretty much, you know, as I would probably say, a Band-Aid that would have never resolved that. So we had to re-gear ourselves during COVID. Eddie was really instrumental in trying to provide a way that we could identify the sort of core uses. Next. And Terry can talk to some of the things. Next. We pause there. There we go. And next couple of plans are really sort of instrumental in really talking about the core circulation elements of the building. So very top for you is that outdoor terrace, okay, and the access to the niches. The blue just below it is that corridor that runs, that's been cleaned up, that's a really circulation. We did have an idea along the way for a restaurant. It may happen. Terry can really touch on that. And then a renovation of the theater and the arena to its use. And the stuff at the lower band is really part of the service use of the building and access to the building off of 10th Street. Next. 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 And the basement, which had enormous amount of storage from a variety of different places, ultimately was cleaned out. And there's been a whole series of concepts associated with how it could actually be used, but right now I think it's really a secondary thing in terms of the priority. Next. So I just want to flash through, Scott Hart just took some photos for Terry and ourselves as a part of the building, shows its connection to downtown, how it really got spruced up. We took a lot of the mechanical equipment off the roof to clean it up. Next. Those niches at night have been lit up with colors sometimes. It's really very special. I just really find the trees that were in the parking lot, they got removed with city's permission because I felt that the art was far more important than a series of sort of sick trees. Next. That social space that I talked about earlier in terms of terrace. Next. Next. And then each of the niches has a different concept that you can go and you can sort of look at each one of them. They each have a different message for them, which is pretty unique and very special. Next. So lobby for the upper portion of the theater. I think the biggest change there was the lighting. The lighting was really instrumental, very simple palette, really very special in terms of its light experience, being able to overlook the museum. Next. And then the theater, if any of you have been there, this is really now, it retained its character. We obviously did all new seating, massive AV system. As Eddie often said, it had one of the best acoustics. He actually knew, I think he was friends with Calvin Simmons way back, but this space actually in its lighting character has remained the true integrity. Next. Next. And the arena, okay? Again, it's used for a variety of purposes. The lighting there, I know it's been very critical in terms of what the things on that use are, because it's a very great multifunction space. Next. And Lakeview Room, I think, which you've met in, really great view over the lake. Next. And of course, this room, again. And one of the things that often gets overlooked, obviously people have sort of joked with me about it, we did a massive renovation and update of all the restrooms. My wife would often say, you know, you go to places and you just are turned off by it just not being clean or up to date. So I devoted more than my share of time to how to make it elegant and how to make it look sort of like you would imagine it looked like in the beginning. Next. And lastly, building is LEED Gold, very unique for a historic building, which is a very special thing. We worked very hard. I had hoped we would actually get to net zero, but I couldn't get anybody that far. That was a big reach. And then last week, the project was awarded a finalist in the American Institute of Architects San Francisco chapter for design. Next. And then with that, Terry, it's all yours.
Well, fantastic. This is definitely an important building, and you have heard a lot now about its beauty and its grandeur. So really what I wanted to talk about is sort of the story of what happens within this building, what has happened, what's going to happen. So here's a question first. If you have a memory of this building before 2005, raise your hand. Yep, that's about what we figure. You know, this building has been for generations such an incredible gathering place. Next slide. As Clark said, it opened in 1915. It was rushed through because they wanted to get it open in time for, next slide, in time for the Pan American Fair that was happening in San Francisco in 1915. Next slide. And the building has had some incredible impacts on the history, obviously, of Oakland and our community, but when you look even at the national level, one of the things that I learned that I find fascinating is that in 1915, the first convention that was held here, this was the largest building built, the largest public assembly venue west of the Mississippi, and the first convening was the Pan Americans Road Conference. And it was a conference that out of that came the backbones of the legislation that created the highway system in the United States. Pretty amazing, I think. In 1918, it was an emergency hospital for the Spanish flu pandemic. Crazy that we kind of have that now in our head of what that probably looked like, right? It was in the 20s, of course, it had its controversial history as well. It was a site for Klan rallies. President Truman actually came through and spoke in the 50s. In the 60s, up through the 60s, this was the only building in Oakland that allowed African Americans to attend events. And it later became a major rally site for the Black Panthers, many of their events for the mayoral announcement for Bobby Searle. Martin Luther King spoke here. And even when it was closed, during Occupy Oakland, there was a lot that went on as they were trying to encamp this building. So, you know, it's really been a part of the history of our country. Next slide. And it's built community in Oakland. One of the things that I absolutely love about the history of this building is the long-standing Christmas pageant. Anybody remember the Christmas pageant? That Christmas pageant ran for almost 70 years, which is not even something I can quite understand because it was basically the same woman, but 1919 to 1987. And every year, over 1,000 students from Oakland participated in that. And it really showed, as that pageant went on, it showed the changing diversity of the town as different groups of students got involved. Really incredible. Graduations, oratory contests, all these things that were the fabric of our community. Next slide. And of course, we all know concerts, right? I would say probably the number one thing people say to me is, oh, I saw my first concert there, or I saw the Dead there. Sometimes both those two things at the same time. But, you know, it had major touring stars. This was the place to be in the mid-century if you were doing a concert in the Bay Area. So Ray Charles, Ike and Tina Turner, Elvis, Metallica, Bruce Springsteen, you name it, they were here. Of course, our Bay Area stars like MC Hammer and Vogue, Digital Underground, all performed here as they were launching their careers as well. And over 50, I believe it's 57, Grateful Dead concerts happened here. So pretty amazing. But despite this storied past, there was an ongoing budget shortfall, and so the city did make the decision to close the building in 2005. So we heard a little bit about the renovation project, but I want to tell you a little bit now about sort of what's the future? And more broadly, what are the opportunities that the reopening brings? Next slide. So a new performing arts center is a lot more than a cultural amenity. It provides an economic development catalyst, creates jobs, attracts visitors, increases spending at local businesses, it stimulates private investment, and I really strongly believe that the Henry J is a catalyst for the civic renovation that we see happening around us in Oakland. I love what Mayor Lee reminds us every time I hear her speak. Oakland is on the move. And when we look at what's happening right here in California, we see that 800,000 jobs are created right here in California through the arts and culture industry. That's a lot. There's a $200 billion annual economic impact to the state as a result of these businesses. When somebody comes to an event, to a performance, they will spend on average $30 to $40 above the price of the ticket out in the community for parking, for drinks, for dinner, whatever it is. And hundreds of thousands of people attend these events. So it brings traffic, it brings foot traffic. And I think that's really one of the things that we need, talking about the lake and talking about how we keep things moving forward here. So next slide. I do believe that we are poised to help with that in our next chapter. So how do we get things going? The renovation project was not easy, as Clark said. He told you a little bit about the process. Orton Development was selected for the process of revitalizing the building with the original plan to build a lifestyle office complex within the auditorium, within the arena, and then to renovate the theater. However, obviously with the pandemic came all sorts of changes that we all know about. Next slide. So the decision was made to drop the offices, leave the arena as is, and proceed. But as Clark said, that was a rough time. Costs were going way up. We all remember probably what was happening during the pandemic as everything was just skyrocketing. And so things slowed down, and there was, I think, really some concern that would this project go forward. But the Orton family and the developer really did commit to saying, we're going to make this happen. So we actually began doing events in this building in 2024. We called them pre-opening events and used them as a way to kind of see how people interact with the building so that we can make some tweaks as it was moving forward. And then we officially opened this year in January. And I wanted to answer some of the things that I get asked all the time about this building, which is largely like, who owns it? How is it run? How do we keep it open? What's happening inside there? So next slide. So we are a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to serve the Oakland community and to keep this building active. You can see our mission there on the screen. It is really, at its core, to enliven Oakland. That's what we're here to do. That's what our charter says that we are going to do. And we do that in three ways. One is maintaining this building for the public. Two is serving local artists and students in Oakland, and giving them opportunity for performances, for performance space. And then the third is bringing more entertainment to Oakland and to the East Bay. So next slide. So how do we do that? How do we think about it? I wanted to show you, these I would say are kind of the three major goals or projects we're working towards as we think about the decade, our first decade ahead of us. The first one is to bring Oakland back as a major live entertainment destination for many genres. We know there's a lot of concerts, there's a lot of comedy that goes on around here, but I want us to be thought of as kind of like the theater district in San Francisco. There's always something going on. There's something different. There's something for kind of anybody. Lots of different things. You may not like every event, but there's definitely events that you want to see. So the way that we're moving forward with that, we are really trying to look at how do we get things like more Broadway, theater, circus, non-concert experiences here in the venue. We're looking at family performances. We are looking at sports and eclectic entertainment in the arena. So lots of different things going on. The second thing is being accessible to Oakland students and arts organizations. So we are trying to launch a school matinee program where students can come in and see live performance. Oakland students do not have that opportunity very often. And then making sure that local businesses are thriving. We want to bring people and activity here. We want to bring people and activity here all throughout the day, not just at night, because that's what really helps our businesses. I like that Clark mentioned the basement is sort of in secondary use. I'm just going to put it out there and then you guys can think about it later. Maybe that's not so much true. So something might be coming. We have, opening this weekend, we have a major exhibit called Dinos Alive. If you haven't been by the arena, you may not have seen it yet, but this summer, that arena is going to be filled with huge animatronic dinosaurs and lots of activities that we hope will bring people downtown, bring people into Oakland, visitors, to go to the museum, come to the exhibit, go to Fairyland, go out and eat, and travel around the lake and really see things happening. Ultimately, we really see this as being a Bay Area hub for these immersive experiences that tell stories of art, history, science, entertainment, and that really draw people in and provide an activity that maybe we don't want to spend all our time in San Francisco or down in San Jose. Maybe we should base a few days in Oakland. So that is a driving goal there. Next slide. And I know I'm running out of time, so I do want to just talk about this other question that I get very frequently, which is who owns this building? So the structure that you see up there is the original structure that Clark talked about, which is the city owns the building. They gave Orton Development a 99-year lease, and Orton was going to do their office complex, and the theater was going to do community rentals and arts programs. Next slide. But this is what we actually have now. So we have an operating agreement with Orton Development to run and to program and take care of the building. And what I think will happen down the road when all of the financing is taken care of is that Orton will actually move out of that circle and it will just be a line. They will ask that the lease be put in the nonprofit's name instead of the developer, which is a pretty typical model of running a facility like this. I have had multiple facilities that were city-owned buildings with a lease to the nonprofit. So that's sort of the direction that we are moving in. Next slide. So the other question I get asked very frequently is how is this funded and how do we keep it open? And I think that is a very good question. First of all, and this is fairly new news and I think is quite exciting, is that the Orton family has made the decision fairly recently that the loans on the building, which are about $65 million worth of construction loans, they are going to donate to pay those loans off in order that the building not have debt. It is pretty spectacular. It puts it up there as one of the largest gifts to an arts organization in the country. And I think it is an absolutely amazing thing for the city of Oakland that we will have this renovated building free and clear of any debt. We do not have city funding, so every year we have to make sure that we've got anywhere from $4 to $5 million just to run the building and keep the basic staff in here. So our business plan includes ticket, rental fees, but also looking towards philanthropic support as well. I think that tickets and rental fees will cover a good chunk of what we need to do, but we'll also be looking for grants for some of our mission-based programs. We'll be looking for corporate funding, sponsorships, as well as philanthropic support from folks that really buy into the mission of what we're trying to do in Oakland. So that's what's upcoming. Next slide. Some of the things that you'll see, I think these hopefully kind of give you a sense of how we're thinking about programming and working with the building to achieve some of those objectives that we set out. And next slide. And so that's about it. But how you can help to bring in to bring in the revenue we need to really get this building going, we need people to know about it. We are a new organization and we are a new building. Everybody knows about it from way back in the day, but right now, having people know that it's open, you'd be amazed at how many people don't know. You may know because you talk to them. Please help us spread the word. We would so appreciate that. If you sign up on our website for our e-blast, we don't spam you lots, but we do offer, when we put a new show on sale, we send it to our email list first, so that you have first access to all of the shows. And then the last thing that you could do that I want talk about with my colleague Adam here is Adam has been building for us our volunteer program. We currently have about 150 active volunteer ushers, which I think is pretty amazing in about a 6-month period of time. All of our ushers are volunteers. And we have an amazing group of people from all over the East Bay who come in. They love the fact that they get to see the shows. They love the fact that, you know, they're kind of in community, and they just love being a part of it. So if you or you know people, please let them know that we are actively looking for more volunteers, and it's a really fun opportunity in the community. So that's what I have. Thank you all.
Clark. Terry and Clark, I hope you'll stay around for questions at the back after the meeting if people have some. In appreciation for your presentation today, we've made a donation to Polio Plus. So know that you're helping eradicate polio from the world. It's Rotary's signature project. Over 3 decades, we've reduced reported polio cases 99.9%. And we will eradicate polio because we are this close. And I also have a Rotary 4-way test coin for you to remember us by. Thank you so much for your fabulous presentation today. One question, Oakland Rotarians, do you love this location? Yeah. Hey, David Stein, can you tell us what our program and speaker will be next week?
We are now
Past President David Stein, sorry, David.
We are now 2.5 months from the start of the Iran war. Our speaker next week is USF Professor of Politics and their Director of Middle Eastern Studies at the University of San Francisco, Stephen Zunes. He's the author of more than 450 articles on the Middle East, politics, foreign policy. He has written several books on the subject. He writes op-ed columns for newspapers in North America and Europe. He's a frequent guest on NPR, Pacific Radio, MSNBC, and BBC. Come next week to hear Stephen Zunes give us a perspective on the Iran war, causes and consequences.
Next, fabulous speaker next week. And Terry, JP, Adam, Mark, if you'll wander to the back, join Jessica and Johnny. Our members will welcome you as they're leaving the meeting today. So if you wouldn't mind heading towards the back. Next week, we actually are hosting the San Francisco #2 Club. We're going to have a reception starting at 11:30. You don't want to miss it, mostly because we get to shake hands and enjoy meeting our San Francisco #2 fellow Rotarians, but the Rotary Rough and Betty Band is going to perform with Jason and Linda, so don't miss that. And Jake, sorry, and Jake. And with that, I'd like to leave you with, through Rotary, world peace will come someday. You know what? I forgot 2 quick things, so I'm going to back up a minute. Apologize for that. We're going to see the Roots game this Saturday. There are 4 or so extra tickets. There's 3 extra tickets. Act quick. It's going to be a Tom Lamone tailgate, Isaac Koss-Reed, Roots, amazing game. So join us if you can. And after this meeting, Clark Bannis has offered to take anybody that's interested on a tour of the building. And so to get back, I want to leave you with, through Rotary, world peace will come someday, and we will end polio too. Look out, Oakland Rotary is on the run. Congratulations, CJ. This meeting is